Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of uh Airy Sky Riddley's video blog. That's right. So this is an early morning edition because I got school this morning. I need to look up a few things anyways. Probably do it while school's in session because you know how I am. A little naughtiness when it comes to school is good. I can do spreadsheets and do the other things at the same time. So, could be sleeping, but you know what? I got up this morning. Really lagging this morning. Figured energy drink for later, coffee until. So, this morning I got up. Good morning, Grandma. Good morning, Grandma. Ginger. So, I got up this morning. Had to make a phone call this morning. I know Granny's always loving my stories, so Granny's got extra blessed this morning by God because God's like, thou shalt be over here to listen to Rita's story. No, it's $1,400. We'll clean the wax out of your ears, Octavia. It's $1,400. You already get $600. They want to give $1,400. They also want to cut it out for people that aren't cut it out and what do you call it? Target it to the unemployed in the working class. They don't want to give anyone else money. 1,400 is an addition to the 600, which would equal $2,000. That's all they're doing. Yeah, so even Grandma knows 1,400. So you already got 600. So they're just gonna add another 1,400, give you that. Say you got $2,000, then they kick you to the curb. If they can do it's another story. So as you can all see, I'm wearing a different shirt today because Chloe this morning was complaining about my shirt. Let me tell you about it. As you all know, I can't get enough of the jammies, But as you know, I got a tear up here. But no one knows is this. Chloe thinks the stitching's pretty crappy. I got a giant hole right here under the armpit, you see? Right here. So, my own coat hanger. But anywho, so Chloe's been bitching about that, but you can know that I prefer wearing this, but I want to look kind of semi-presentable for school today, this morning. So when I get done with school, you can see it's tearing still up the seams. So it's got to be the material is what I think. So I got to send Dinky a message about it and let her know that the message is plain and simple. We better try. Oh, I got one on the neckline coming undone too. Look at this. Built-in coat hanger here now. It's the material, I think. Fleece is not good for stitching. Oh yeah, there's stitching coming out here. You guys get it. We can talk all day about my jammies and we would never get anywhere to the crux of the story this morning. So Grandma's waiting for a story. But anyways, the joke goes that God sat there this morning and said, thou shalt wait for Rita to come online, so thou shalt get a new story. So, I'm talking to Cactus this morning, all right? Moderator Cactus. I do a dip. I got a canker sore, too. Hopefully it's not mouth cancer. Can't get seen anyways to find out about, so I'm hoping it's just a basic canker sore. It's under the tongue, so I assume it's a small canker sore. Probably caused after I burned myself, alright? So it was Octavia, it's 1,400 added to 600 if the government agrees to it. Two congressmen, our congressman, AOC, and Bernie Sanders, a senator, basically said no. They don't think that people like us should get it. So, anyways, another person said that $2,000 a month is a pipe dream. If anyone's basically sitting there and they turned around and they voted Georgia for $2,000 a month, then they must got their head on wrong because the government doesn't have approximately They figured it'd be between $9 and $23 trillion to do a stimulus that size until the pandemic's over. And if the pandemic is never over, then that just means that the country goes bankrupt because we'd have the biggest deficit in the world due to the financial impact of that money. So, shall I get to my story now? Because I don't have much time. Okay, you get me for 46 minutes plus the additional 5 that we've already burned. So, shall I go on with my story or not? Because time's wasting. All right, so all right. Thank you, Grandma. So I called Dr. Paul this morning. You know, Grandma's going to do it, paging Dr. Useless, paging Dr. Useless. Anyway, so Dr. Paul got in touch with him, and I spoke to Dr. Paul, and he has any problems over the weekend. I said, well, Chloe went ahead and attacked the APS lady. He says, oh, well, how'd she attack? She probably didn't attack. I said, let me put it to you this way, Dr. Paul. If Chloe went on YouTube and thinks that the APS lady is going to put her in a group home and calls her out by her first and last name, that's basically call for order and chaos to basically go attack the APS lady. And he said, well, what justified her saying? Then he said, you mean she literally called him by the first and last name? Yes. I said it takes a rocket scientist to say, quote unquote, Paul, what the media is saying, which is BS. That's what I told Paul. That, the president riled up the hornet's nest and he might not have pulled the trigger, but they're all saying he did the crime. Now they want to impeach him for it. He said, but the president did do the crime. It's all over TV. I said, yeah. So what if someone turned around and said the same thing to you where you worked and you got targeted? Who's liable then? He said, the person on YouTube's liable. So if Chloe decided to turn around and start attacking you verbally on YouTube by your first and last name, what would you do? He says, I hope I never find out, because the guy, literally, he was basically shaking this morning. You can see it in his voice. He's like, oh my God, this lady's basically pure narcissistic, you know. I said Chloe had a meltdown this morning, called me a bastard. He said, why? I said, because Chloe called me a bastard. So, when I told him, this is where we're going with the story this morning, all right? And you guys going to see me have my dip, too. Told him that the reason I'm calling, and he's like, well, I'm glad to know about the APS thing. This is really getting really bad for Chloe if she just goes off the deep end. I said she also called my advocate, Courtney, a Twinkie eater as well. And he said, what is Chloe trying to instigate with the APS lady, or whoever she names by first and last name, whether it be transgenders, which I told him about, or whether it be agencies working? I said, she's hoping that someone harms them, literally physically harms them, whether it be scalping, beheaded, murder, maiming, whatever. And he's like, this person is very, very disturbed. So, story goes. So when I talked to him, he said, so why are you calling anyways, Rita? I said, oh, yeah, okay, be rude to me. And he's like, I'm not trying to be rude. So I said, well, I'm calling you, sir, to let you know that we need a discussion about what to thinking about with Chloe, right? Literally. I said, I had to, you know, So Granny's sitting there going, okay, so we talked. And he turned around and he says, I really don't want to talk to Cactus. This is something I want to tell Grandma because he's got enough abuse information for me, okay? And for my advocates and from the sheriff's department. I told him this morning what Granny said, and he literally was almost fucking shaking, all right? Granny and I talked over the weekend, right? Might have been Friday or Thursday, but Granny told me, have you told him about the whole issue? I said, no. Well, the advocate, of course, got rid of the release of info due to the fact for protecting me for that reason. So, he was like, oh, can I get Rita's info? Is Rita insane? Is Rita this? And my advocate and I talked. I said, I don't trust Dr. Doolittle nothing because they let a fucking insane psycho walk the earth and lock me up for no reason. That's the way these fucking people are. So my advocate said, no, you're protected. So she went ahead and destroyed the release. And he's like, can you get it to me? I need to see your info. And so I finally said, you know why she's protecting me? And he said, well, no. So I let him have it this morning. Literally fucking let him have it, right? He's like, oh my God. And nothing happened. I said, no shit, Sherlock. Now you get it from my point of view. And he's like, oh my God. And I said, she's trying to make up new trike games, whatever. He said, did you ever get to open your presents? No. He's like, all right, I'm going to put that down as a control freak. Anything else? Did she ever get her new laptop? Yes, she's sitting in her room using it and going. And he whack on, whack off, whack on, whack off. And he was like, oh my God. He's like, what we have is a problem here that's so severe that we have to do something about it. So he basically turned around and he is in shock, Grandma. Literally, well, you told me to tell him about what. You're like, lay it down the law and let him know what he did. I'm on the phone with him. And he's like, I said, between you and I, this is why Courtney basically doesn't want this info released. And you're not entitled to that fucking info. And he's like, well, what does Chloe's mom think about? Chloe's mom thinks it's bullshit, made up, just to get rid of her little crybaby. He's like, so mom doesn't want her around. Why do you think mom doesn't want her truly around? Doesn't anyone realize this? It tells Dad, he basically said at one time if he could sexually assault his own pops, apparently, after his pops had a sex change. I mean, literally, the guy is like, I told him that, and the guy was like, I said, so Chloe's mom doesn't want her on that fucking train tomorrow. He's going, well, I'm gonna need to talk to her mom on. I said, his mom, not her mom, his mom. And he's like, oh, we have to turn out. Oh, really? So someone like me who's all female basically gets there. Is something happening? And I told him the exact details. And he's like, oh my God. Well, I said, why do you think no one wants to deal with her? You guys don't know this, but you don't let me talk on Chloe's behalf on it. Now you know the cat's out of the bag. What are you going to do about it? That statute of limitations is almost up. Well, what, sir? We're all waiting. And then I was like, do, 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 do. I was like, and then I was like, and at the end, he's like, I definitely need to get in touch with her mom to find out what we can do and where we can go. I said, well, maybe contact the the developmentally disabled program. He's like, is that where we go for group homes? I was like, oh, now you're getting it, buddy. He's like, I want to talk to her mom on it anyways because I think she truly needs one, and I'm going to work on coordinating this because I think what you're going through is more than hell. He wrote down, yeah, guy doesn't pay electric bill, spends $1,500 to $2,000 on laptop, pays rent, screws up last month's internet, almost loses it, throws a fucking shit fit. Calls Rita a bastard this morning just because the doesn't want to flush the toilet and doesn't know how to use a bucket. Can't use plunger. Toilet got clogged again. I mean, this is this morning. That's what I told him. He basically did not know why. When he found out my advocate was protecting me, that info because she's got a copy, and he was like, asked me what his mom thinks of it. I said her mom doesn't even want her near her. Ever since that happened almost 3 years ago, dear old mom wants to basically attack me on YouTube by saying that Chloe needs to come home because I'm abusing her. He's like, abuse. What you're dealing with is a psychological, pathological, what was it? Narcissistic sociopath. That was the word, not psychopath. Sociopath, who's holding everything against you. He said, look, they're a sociopath. Basically, fucker does this to you, which I told him the details because I read him this morning, the entire thing. It was in what I sent you, Grandma. And he literally was shitting gold bricks. He was literally stuttering. He's like, I said, he's like, oh, my, one of my coworkers came in, and I said, oh, which one? He says, oh, you don't know her. Her name's Leah. I said, put Leah on the phone. Hey, Leah, how goes it? Hey, Rita, what's new, girl? Why don't you explain to Dr. Do Nothing about the information that I told you about you know who? And she turns around and she says, I've seen the report myself. What you're dealing with is a sociopath who basically literally did something to Rita that's destroyed her mind. And he's like, you've seen the actual restraining order report? Yeah, I couldn't write it up in my information to Rita, but I've seen it. Why do you think the son of a bitch doesn't want to do anything? Why do you think the son of a bitch didn't want to fucking get on disability for years? Because A, he's afraid that his benefits would not be, he'd have payee status. Two, the son of a bitch turned around and was worried about, what Social Security would think because it basically was in their medical records about the restraining order. So in the end, right, he's basically puts me back on. And I'm like, so anything else you need? He's like, I'm going to need to talk to her mom. Her mom's probably going to basically work with me. I said, if you read all the records again, it states mom's opinion was before they moved to Ohio. I moved out of Ohio. Because of the whole incident being homeless for 3 months in San Diego with no one around, which mom and dad apparently had to get them a ticket home. They didn't know they were homeless out there. That they were looking at group home options. He's like, yeah, I could see why. I'll see what I can do out here too. He's like, we really need to break it off with you and her. You shouldn't be stuck with a fucking bills for a chronic masturbator that does this. I said, oh, and he attacked the neighbor this weekend verbally by basically saying that I support rapists. Yeah. Well, he told me basically right now that because she's on the lease, he can't enforce anything unless we had to put a restraining order against her today, and that won't happen because my advocate ain't in today. She's in on Wednesday, so you know. So one of my friends, Commander Jess, sent me a message about a couple trannies he thinks would be interested in me, and I'm like, why would I be interested in a tranny that looks ugly? I mean, look, this one here is like, oh look, I got tits. I'm, this one here is like, look at my tits. I got tits and I'm on hormones. It's like no one gives a shit if you have tits and on hormones. No one cares. This is the problem. You got these fucking guys that look like men in the past. So this one here is claiming they had facial surgery and they're more attractive than everyone else. Personally, I think these people are butt ugly. You get tits, now they think they're a real woman. Personally, I think these two people are fucking idiots. Literally. Makes me sick that I'm even on Instagram. I told Commander Jess I thought about getting rid of Instagram just because it makes me sick as hell. Let me get my dip in, alright? So basically, the guy basically realizes it, but he says by law, he's talked to the sheriff and the shit, that's why he asked me to talk to the the sheriff with my advocate, because my advocate, he's like, oh, you need to build a relationship with this guy. This guy would be perfect for your job, right? It's like, why do I want to build a relationship with some jackass who, says, oh, one of your officers threatened to arrest a trans woman because the trans woman is, you know, different, being abused, You know what the real problem is with this whole fucking problem? I'll tell you what it is. My advocate and I agree. My advocate said being hermaphroditic, intersex, you fall on the spectrum. If you're a disabled intersex woman, there's no help. But if you're a trans woman and you get the shit kicked out of you, you might, maybe get a little help. Maybe a little help. Otherwise, it's just selective targeting. Now, a genetic woman gets targeted, well, it's a different story than being trans or hermaphroditic or intersex. No, I was shaking because I told him what was going on this morning, Grandma, and he did not like it one bit. Excuse me, I'm doing my dip this morning. So, just to let you know, everyone, my mouses are due in today. I'm hoping they come in while I'm in school. Now, I did tell him this morning that was talking to herself the other day in the shower. He's like, are you sure she's not singing in the shower? Alright, so I got Zoom up and running for school today. I got Bun Bun, and he's looking at me. Eat all your yogis already, you little fat bug? Come here. Oh yeah, Chloe's supposed to go grocery shopping today. That went down the shitter. She doesn't want to do anything. Oh, fat boy. Hi. Anyone have anything to say? Paging Dr. Do Nothing, Dr. Do Nothing, come in, Dr. Do Nothing. As long as you don't knock over my tobacco can, we're good. What do you think, Grandma? I got a parrot on my shoulder. Oh, what do you think of my parrot on my shoulder? Worthless, definitely worthless, definitely worthless. Oh yeah. Decides to get up late and then be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go today, but I can do it tomorrow, the next day, or the next day." And then my advocate, right? It's okay. Come here. Then my advocate, right? She turns around and she was asking me this morning, I think it was, or well, no, it was do nothing. He asked what Chloe's plan was today, so she was gonna go shopping today. So what happened? Son of a bitch got out late, doesn't want to do it. Well, why would they need to go shopping again? They went twice last week because the motherfucker skipped half the stuff on the shopping list. He's like, okay, well, that just does. I said, what if I told you that everything I needed on the shopping list was for household essentials? He's like, well, what do you really need? And I grabbed my list. I said, well, if you need to know, I need more cheese smokies. I want to make some stews. I got like 500 pounds of stew meat. And he's like, yum, yum. I said, I need that. I said, I need ink cartridges. He says, why do you need the ink cartridges? Otherwise, can't time release info and scan them in. Oh. I said, I need pellets for the washing, the dishwasher. He says, why don't you just wash them by hand? Because I prefer the dishwasher. Oh. I said, I asked for brats. And he said, well, what's Chloe's answer? I said, Chloe's answer? Order everything online, if possible. I told him what I needed is I need to get some more Ziploc bags, some ink, some printer paper, shampoo and conditioner, and shaving cream and shaving gel and razors. Got to buy it. And dish pellets, right? And paper towels. Turned around and he's like, so you had to order all this, pay for it yourself because he won't spend money on their own supplies because their computer's more important. Then he turned and said, well, in my opinion, they definitely need a group home. And then he says, that's my job to deal with. Anyway, look at Mom doesn't give much advice. It'll be my job to pull it out of a hat here in this state. But then he said the strangest thing, Grandma. He said, are you ready for this? That he thought that long-term psych facility would be better if a group home's not available due to the fact that group home wouldn't want him due to the fact of what he has done in the past. The fact that he's threatened lives if he was put into a group home. He said more likely they would need a long-term psych facility, which he can do. No, he said short-term beds are not available. He didn't say long-term wasn't. He was talking about an actual long-term facility like Eastern or Western State, where long-term for someone with autism or Aspies or Asperger's. Did I finish wetting my hair? No, I didn't. I brushed it this morning. I had a bath last night for about 30 minutes. Came back and then I had to do movie time with Dad. I actually did 2 movies last night. Oh, by the way, Dad said he had a question for you, Grandma. If you would be kind to email me the link to the video link if it's over a half hour or more. He said, yeah. It's one of those shorty videos. He's not interested, but if it's a long video that we can get into, he's interested. We found a whole bunch of them, but we don't know what's what. Actually, he's got a few options, he said, when it comes to the insurance thing. He said what Chloe truly needs is long term, which the state would pay due to the fact that this is a different ball of wax, you know. Well, computer drug or not, I still pay the internet bill and I can turn the fucking thing off anytime I want. Actually, he's actually looking into it now because he's very upset. You could say, Grandma, what he heard today. He did not know. And then when I said, well, don't forget, you need to talk to Cactus around 4 o'clock. He said, no, I don't want to focus on Cactus right now. I truly need to focus on Chloe's mom to get her the help Chloe needs because her mom might have some other suggestions out there, or I can dig information up with her mom to get her situated out there because what we have is a problematic person who doesn't want to do jack shit and expects everyone to hand over everything on hand and foot. He's doing it right now. Actually, that's why he had to get off the phone, though. There's not many waiting lists. He told me because I asked him. But when I asked him about group homes, he says, "Well, that's something that he can work with the state hospitals, or he's looking at the DD program, the developmentally disabled. If Chloe's developmentally disabled, that basically opens up a new ball of wax with extra help because they claim they're autistic with Asperger's, which means it opens up a different problem altogether with all the other psych problems." Yeah, he's gonna talk to me tomorrow after he's done. Well, he said, and I quote, "I gotta uh, he was just saying, you know, he's working on everything today. He's he asked me to email my advocate, so I did. We've been talking. Advocate wants to sign me up for a book course, being like a co-helper to this support group book thing. I gotta check on this real quick. Apparently, she thinks it's a religious thing. I don't know anything about it, so I'm looking it up now. Here we go. So apparently, this lady here makes several books that she wants me to study. It's called "The Gifts of Imperfection." I thought it was just me, but it isn't. Making the journey from what will people think to it. Am I enough? And Rising Strong, The Reckoning to the Rumble. So we got 3 books. Is that all she's got? Is 3? I know. Huffington Post. Dare to Lead. Daring Greatly. I thought it was just me, but it isn't. Braving the Wilderness. Rising Strong. This lady's got some books. Amanda Palmer. So it looks like, yeah, book studies. So 4 or 5. Morning, Cam. Well, he's not going to wait 6 months. He told me this. Excuse me 1 second. Bathroom break. I would have my thing, but it's charging. So you guys get to look at a cage for a second. There we go. Hershey squirts is what I call it. Anyways, trying to speed things up so I can get back. Yeah, we've been talking about that too. Oh, someone emailed me this morning. Who is it, Dad, or is it? Gary. Like I really care about. Huh. So, anyways, like I said, I got about 12 minutes left or so, and then I have to leave for school, and then I'll be back. I'm gonna check the smart home real quick to see if there's a delivery came in yet. Should check USPS too, but that's tomorrow. Nope, nothing delivered, so that's fine. There we go. Anyways, I think it's coming UPS maybe. Let me check. It might have been going USPS today too, so I got package due in on Tuesday, so I gotta be around Tuesday for a package. This is out for delivery. Is this the postal service or? Postal service. So it's out for delivery. So I'm gonna go check the USPS website, see when it's supposed to be delivered today. Ten and 2. All right. So my mouses are in between 10 and 2. Well, yeah, I agree with you completely, Grandma. I mean, you know, morning, Cam. Sorry you missed me. I'll be leaving for school soon. Figured I'd get on this morning because everyone's curious about Dr. Do Nothing. Thank God Chloe's on her computer right now. She doesn't have to sit there and bitch about, what's that smell? Always complains about that when I take a shit. You sure you don't get cancer? That stinks really bad. Well, I'm sorry I ate a buffalo chicken sandwich and had a little Smokies last night. Oh, it stinks. Well, that's good for you. That's for me to know, you know. So, anyways, I don't know what's gonna happen afterwards, but hopefully, like I said, um, it's out for delivery. So, I can't believe he's making more notes. Still curious about his shopping habit. So, anyways, all right. So I will. I gotta check email quick, make sure I got the. No one knows what's going on with the stimulus thing. They're supposed to unveil it this week, so we'll know more about the stimulus. Hmm. Anyways, I gotta get going, so I'll be back after school. So please add and subscribe. Please post comments, leave feedback, suggestions, like, subscribe buttons, wholesome, funny for your family, including your dogs, your cats, your bunnies, your service dogs. Thanks for watching, everyone. God bless you and everything you do.